Would like to welcome the following people to this stage. Minister of Digital Transformation of Ukraine, Mykhailo Fedorov. Welcome. Look, friends, I have to make this comment now. You can make a wish here, clearly, because these two people have the same last names. But about 1.5 months ago, I was watching a presentation where these two wonderful men were telling about how they will change Ukraine. Not a lot of time had passed. Now I'm standing between them, and we're sitting here and talking about what precise steps we'll be making inside our companies. We're not moving rapidly even. This is like the frog leap, a turbo mode. So come on, make some noise. I would like to reveal one secret. DIA project, which is in the process of being launched, which is coordinated by Mykhailo, is one of the names option was Turbo, but we decided to call it DIA because it stands for State and Me. So now we know a bit more about DIA. We have some of the secret information about it. Also, would like to invite Deputy Minister of Economy, Development and Agriculture, Dmytro Romanovych. Please welcome him with a round of applause. Also, today we have the Star Day. We have international and local stars. So this is the founder of International System Business School, Kirill Kunitsky. So, friends, come on, clap your hands. Because these people will also fire us up. They will make us more energetic. And also, ex-director of operational consulting, PwC Ukraine, Olga Andrienko-Bentz. Please welcome her with a round of applause. Welcome. And one more empty seat for the president of Consultants Association, Volodimir Malichevskiy, CMC-Ukraine. So, we move on. The format is the same. It will be moderated also by Andriy Fedoriv. Please give him a round of applause also. We're gonna bring you some more water, and you can get started meanwhile. I think that we'll also have about 30 minutes, maybe 32 minutes. So the first thing that I would like to ask our audience, I understand that all people are very serious, all of them are consultants, but please don't hold back, because when the person answers and after that it is so quiet and silent, then person on the stage is stressed out. So please make more noise, clap your hands. It's like the rock concert after all. Come on, this is too weak. Make some noise. Wonderful. As we're talking about consulting, and the first question from me to all those present here, and it is related to what we discussed previously. How do you see, what are the main challenges for consultant business in digitalization age? Volodymyr, let's start with you. Hello, everybody. I think that currently Ukraine really is at the start, and the start will be very powerful because I work as the client on many projects in the IT area, and I am consultant myself, and I see it from two perspectives, first as a consultant and as a client. And I think that the key thing now for the development of digitalization is the following, which is the understanding of the product by IT companies. It is very important when IT professionals are preparing solution for the customer, and the customer normally sees it slightly different. They look at the same things, but from a different perspective. They're not buying IT solution, they are buying the solution for their task. And I believe that now we see the huge lack of professionals who are translating the order by the client to the IT language. And I think that now this is the main challenge, because many young people who are trying to do something cannot overcome this barrier. And I think that those who had experience in launching different systemic solutions are especially important professionals for IT companies. And if there will be schools, courses, programs that will be developing this communication between client and IT, we will be able to see this huge explosion, because there are so many young, progressive, smart guys, but they do not have this human experience in terms of working with medium business, large business, or even some small companies. This is the key thing for us now. Thank you.
Мне кажется, что
Well, I believe that the challenges that were mentioned in the previous panel from our international experts and the notions of trust and curiosity mentioned, and also self-improvement, I think they are very relevant to Ukraine as well. Due to the fact that everything is changing rapidly and everything becomes clearer and more understandable, then it is even more difficult to hide. So it's either the consultant brings real value, or he or she is carried away and replaced by technology, or removed from the market and replaced by the competitor. So in order to get to the customer, your attitude and your skills of curiosity, and curiosity being your key competence, are very important. From my point of view, the biggest issue with the Ukrainian business society, this is the poor culture of consultancy and consulting services. Entrepreneurs have so many people who start getting into their lives and as if help to build their business, and this area is not properly regulated at the level of state licensing, which is probably good because it helps our area develop. On the other hand, I see that there is a need in such a platform as we have here presented, as we are now trying to separate what's important and what's not, who can be trusted and who does not deserve this kind of trust. You know, currently the market looks like that. The entrepreneurs who hear about consultants for the first time, they come to the consultants, and if this experience is negative, then this negative feedback poisons the opinions of those who surround these people, because they spread the word and this negative experience is disseminated. So with the help of such platforms, we could regulate the consulting services and could make it more transparent and increase trust in it, and increase trust in the profession of consultants. Hi everyone, with regard to the question, maybe you saw this meme that was very popular in the internet and still is. Some experts in 60s, PhDs, then expert later in time, students who learned something, then a journalist, and now, you know, expert, this is some John Doe from Facebook, some Johnny Boy from Facebook. And this is happening because of the overload of information and too many expert opinions. And yes, it's hard to discern who are the real experts and who are simply expressing their personal opinions. And with this digitalization, it's hard to tell the real quality and discern this quality. I don't know how we could fight against that, maybe by means of some associations. Maybe associations could be about quality, and we could say that this is association that abides by quality principles, but I believe that this is something that could be helpful. Hi everyone! I just wanted to ask whether you invited me as a minister or as an entrepreneur who had been working in digital transformation area for 5 years. Well, let's start as a minister. Well, no, let's start as an entrepreneur. Okay, now you are an entrepreneur. 5 years of experience and 3 months of experience of being minister. That's not that significant in my track record for now, for the sake of this conference. Hi everyone. For 5 years I've been working in digital transformation, and my company was titled SMM Studio, and I am not that much knowledgeable of SMM, but I tried to enter foreign markets, and they liked the SMM part in the name of our company, and they thought that it was about traffic, but it was not about it, and we helped them in terms of their business. And in 21st century we see that this digital transformation is used too widely, and the notion that is too widespread and misinterpreted. I think that this digitalization or digital transformation is the transformation and switch from stone to matches, changing the tools of attainment of the result. And in my head, I see that transformation comes in 2 stages: the transformation of managers, some managerial processes to make your business more effective, and on the other hand, there is the transformation to make something more usable for the customers. And keeping in mind that when I think of digital transformation, I was thinking how to make company more profitable and making more money, and on the other hand I was thinking how to gain more customers and for customers to enjoy this kind of interaction more. So digital transformation, as I see it, this is a set of tools that enable me being more effective and bring more satisfaction in terms of interaction with the customers. So these digital transformations in Ukraine face the barrier of this business culture, as quite often they are looking for SMM specialists, and it doesn't matter what kind of company we are talking about. So they heard a lot about it and they don't know how to use it and how to live with this. And I think that the biggest challenge is to keep on working, as you already are doing that, to keep on working on the change in mindset of businessmen and businesswomen, so that they understand what digital transformation is about. Let me give you an example from the point of view of management on the one hand, and from the point of view of customers. Nova Pochta delivery service, digital transformation for it, this is the opportunity to use the smartphone and to present my documents in a digital form from my cell phone. And example of customer digital transformation, IPHAM. This is the company that has a HR management system with the database of all people who applied to this company. At any point, they could find an employee in any office of theirs and find out what this person is doing from this database. And these are the 2 examples. So you see that in Ukraine we have this barrier to digital transformation, this poor culture of entrepreneurship and actual understanding what digital transformation is. So the more awareness there is, the higher the demand in high quality consultancy will be. And I believe that this is the core issue, the biggest issue, and this is something that we are trying to tackle. And speaking as a minister now, digital transformation from the point of view of minister, and that's a nice touch with the languages. So now you speak Ukrainian, and you spoke Russian as entrepreneur. Yes, as minister. I'd like to say that we need to transform the state to make it more efficient, and we also need to transform our actions and mindset so that they could be knowledgeable of the use of digital tools and how those digital tools could make their lives more convenient. And we also need to set the framework. We, as the state, we cannot transform the business, but we, as the state, as the authorities, we could say that this is really important for us, and we could demonstrate that because we understand that entrepreneurship and businessmen are the foundation for each state, and we are working daily for the sake of the transformation of people and entrepreneurship in Ukraine. So let me be specific. We meet many of you, and you know that in January we launched an online platform aimed at digital learning, and this will be the platform for learning digital skills, so that people knew how to make a CV, how to use the laptop, how to install an app, so that these people could change their customer behavior. And from the point of view of business, on daily basis, together with the EBRD, we work on the project which will have the online platform launched at the end of January, beginning of February. So this will be the online platform that will launch in February. This is the online platform that will enable entrepreneurs to get answers to all the questions, and this will be the platform for business consultancy online. And our task is to speak more about it, to raise the awareness. We need to show that this is something that's cool, something that's trendy, and we need to make it popular. And I'm sorry for taking too much time. As you know, this is something that's a burning issue for me. And are you interested? Yes, everyone's interested, so keep on talking. You know, this is something that I've been working on my whole life, and it matters to me. So we developed, and Andriy gave you some spoilers. So we have stayed in the smartphone program, and they said that Johnny Ives stole this idea from us. Well, yes, we like that idea. So why do we do that? And why I am personally motivated in it. We want to have all the public services to be available via smartphone. And this is the state in the smartphone concept. As we talked to Andriy today, and we know that the state is now competing with the other states for the services, and we are competing for our citizens so that they would choose Ukraine, and so that smart people would choose Ukraine. And this is my personal motivation, and I want people from other countries to be able to start their businesses in Ukraine without even coming to Ukraine. And in order to do that, we also need to have the proper taxation. But I want to see people from other countries starting their own businesses here and having more companies established over here. And I believe that we will be able to lay the groundwork this next year, so that in 2021, 2022, and 2023 we could say proudly that Ukraine is the country of entrepreneurs, and that would be the national idea. Thank you very much. Thank you. Just to pick up on that, I would like to add, and I don't know whether I should talk as the owner of a consulting company, or whether I should speak as an owner of YouTube channel that is dedicated to brands and doing business. You know, in the past 3 years, I see that there is quite positive interest in business. And you know that some business conferences host from 7 to 10,000 people. And you know that in Ukraine, in average, there are 10 hours of high-quality business content generated weekly. And you simply do not have time to watch all those videos. On the other hand, there is the reverse to it. Some people see business as something negative, and this is due to the fact that they do not do their homework. They feel like, oh, MBA is some kind of bullshit. I can watch some video on YouTube and I don't need that MBA. And this digitalization issue is not that it is implemented in an effective way. The thing is that this digitalization is later on you applied at the organization that is very much flawed, and more than 50% of of SMEs, 70-80% of them do not have PML, and they do not have the proper budgeting in place. And if you put digitalization on top of that, I believe that that would make it very difficult for this company to thrive. So digitalization should enable entrepreneurs in terms of making their business more systemic and streamline the business in a convenient way by use of digital platforms. And I believe that by means of digitalization, they might be able to do something that they wanted to do for a long time in an analog format. With regard to digitalization, if in your projects, where do you see the biggest challenges and bottlenecks that impair your progress? I believe that this is quite a unique case from many perspectives. As you know, there are some companies that have been existing for 10 to 15 years, are managed and led by the age group of 40, 45, and older. And usually they have everything well structured, but they do not have this kind of their habit to go for digitalization. They do not use their cell phones 24/7, and the use of specific software is not the most enjoyable experience for them. And on the other hand, we have the users who like new software, but still there is the conflict with regard to it. And you know, even in my company, from time to time, one generation is confronting the other, as I am from the older generation, and the younger generation in my company has the contrary views. It was right of you to mention that digitalization is a filter. As for instance, you have these metal detectors in the airports, and you have this frame to put your carry-on luggage to see whether it will fit in or not in the compartment. And the same pertains to digitalization. It has to fit into the time frame, and you will see with the time whether your tools were correct or not. And if you if your luggage fits into that frame, you are passed on, and you have, for instance, your digital framework, but you cannot manage your business the way you wanted it. Our association now in Ukraine provides international certification for consultants, and when the well-versed consultants prepare to this certification, they see that it's difficult for them to present their projects in a well-structured manner. So if you have a consultant with a managerial experience who they actually fit into these frameworks, but young consultants do not really fit into the conventional, traditional model of consulting. So our task as of now is to provide for the occupational standards from the point of view of consultants in general and digitalization in particular. I just have a small request. Try to keep it down to 1 minute. I agree with Vladimir, and I believe that if we speak more of it, on one hand, digitalization is used as some kind of religious cult without a proper answer given to why we are doing that and why do we need that. And this is also the issue of this conventional consultancy. And on the other hand, in order to implement it in high quality, you have to feel that it resonates with you, and probably this young generation that lives online would see bigger value in it. And you have to connect those two elements, and maybe Merezha platform would be able to link those two. Speaking of the challenges to digitalization, I believe that digitalization is a homework that every consultant is supposed to do, as we all understand that we are facing we are facing this competition on the part of millennials, and we feel that this competition is becoming higher and higher. And in our project, we are working on that, and the biggest challenge with digitalization for us is not the part of project implementation. It's more about marketing and management, and also attraction of new customers. And I believe that each consultant is able to provide value to the businesses as they help. I know that I'm a customer of many consulting companies, but the customers do not always see it to the stage of decision making. So digitalization as the part of decision-making process, this is a big challenge, and this is something we have to work on today. From the point of view of the Ministry of Economy, I'd like to say that, you know, that if you have chaos and you digitize it, you will have a digital chaos, so that will be of no use to anyone. And actually, that is quite typical of the processes that take place in the state, because the legal framework is outdated, the bylaws are outdated, and if you follow me on Facebook, from time to time you see these blue folders I sign manually. And why do I do that? Because the law says that I have to put my signature on it, and I believe that there are many documents that could be signed with e-signature, and also the streamlining of licensing procedures and issuing of licensing and licenses and other documents. So streamlining of the legal framework, this is something that is indispensable, and I believe that that is the biggest challenge that we'll have to tackle in order to avoid this kind of chaos. And there were some attempts to improve the situation in the past, but it does not come to any successful result.
Представте таку ситуацію.
Imagine a situation. You have been invited and you become the director on digitalization in a company where there are 40,000 employees. The first question that you will ask is how many people work there, or like they have 40 million clients, and they say, and how many like real customers do you have? And they say, we don't know. And then you ask, and how many services does your company provide to the clients? And they say, we don't know. And then like, how many people do you have employed? And they would say, I don't know. So this is a state as we have it today. The key point is that we have very low quality data. Let me give you an example. Next week, we're going to launch a beta app with the e-driver's license. And in the register, there is 9.5 million people. And it was created in 2013. Out of this 9.5 million, only 2.5 million have their pictures. So when the policeman stops them, they won't see any picture for 7 million people. And you know, there are like hundreds of questions like that about only one register. Then we take another register, demographical, we match the data, we are transferring pictures, IDs. So data is of a very poor quality, and now we're working to make it of a better quality. So we're taking basic registers, we're verifying the data. And this is a huge amount of homework that is that probably will not be visible for many of you for yet another 6 months, plus or minus. So the main challenge for us is the data quality. And very little number of companies collect data in a good way. Many, like 90% of companies do not even still have proper CRM system integrated. That is true. I would like to add on my half that there are very many challenges. They are very diverse, but one of them is that to make any transformation, whether it is marketing transformation, combined transformation in a company, means that you have to deal with a huge project that's not going to last for only a couple of months. Objectively, it can take up to several years. And when the company only starts implementing it or tries to assess and evaluate it, the companies often tend to be scared of it because it is like a huge mountain that you have to climb. and they keep putting it off or trying to deal with it in an easier way, and it creates an illusion for them that they keep doing something. And some of the company, this is basically what Mykhailo was mentioning, what we see now, is when I'm saying that this is digital transformation, they say, oh, so now you're gonna deal with SMM finally. So you're gonna work with Facebook, and we're like, no, we're talking about totally different thing. And then they say, no, it's not about Instagram stories. So there is no even proper understanding about what digital transformation really means. Many companies do not understand that. But I'm gonna be slightly cynical because I see very many customers. For example, if we work with Rozetka, this is a company with very high level of digital culture. So I understand that the companies that do not introduce this culture simply will leave. And this is the matter of time. And we don't have actually that much time, by the way. And I believe that, well, in my company, I have 100 employees. If 5 years ago we didn't start investing into, well, let's call it ERP system, then now we would have had so many problems and we would have not been able to go on with business. I think that this is my final question. What is your vision of consulting in Ukraine in 5, 7, 10 years' time? Please. As of now, I know two research that are published, open research that shows different statistical indicators and correlation between the amount of consultants and productivity of the country and its GDP. For example, Denmark, Japan, America have the highest indicators in terms of the number of consultants per one working person. And the Netherlands, I believe, even export consultants to other countries because the country is quite small. However, they are creating quite a good budget based on that. I think that now in Ukraine, we also have this area because now we are creating consulting conferences. EBRD very actively is developing consulting market, and I would like to thank them for that. There is international standard in Ukraine that has been functioning for a while now, and you can work with it. And currently, I believe to further develop consulting will probably require certain area research because I believe that very few of sitting here are fully aware about the volumes of consultant marketing. And it is different in different countries. The structure of consulting market is different in every country. And I think that now this market will gain certain shape, and those consultants who will be able to provide clients with convenient solutions, I believe that it is about 25% of those who are present in the market, will become the foundation for this area for the coming 10 years. Well, can I say something different? Not 5 years, but about something dream big. Of course, here we have representatives from the state authorities. It seems to me that consulting is not area as such, but rather a mirror of the economy in the country. And that is why advisors cannot jump higher than their clients. That is why I believe that ideally economy is developing in such a way that Ukrainian consultants are exporting their services to other markets, and our economy is such that when you come to other countries and say, I'm Ukrainian consultant and I did this and that to a certain Ukrainian company, this opens doors of opportunities for you. So I think that this is the right level of ambitions for us. It seems to me that it was mentioned today, by the way, that IT companies, they had shown that it is possible to export from Ukraine to other countries, but I think that we can strive for more. On my example, I would like to outline certain vision. We recently had a certain change of positioning in my company. Before that, we had School of Systematical Business and Consulting Company. They were part of the business unit, and we merged them and called it Learning and Consulting Company. Why? because we realize that without support of learning and education for top management and employees, it is very difficult to introduce change. Because this business knowledge, this business intelligence is like a fertilizer that sets the ground for very rapid change. That is why I believe in the future of consulting as integration of consulting and educational system, either within one company or as collaboration between business schools and certain consulting and educational companies. Then it will make sense. And it yields very good results based on my experience. And what I started with, importance of centralization of reputation management. Now, we do not have TripAdvisor among consultants. No. When we say a consultant, we cannot understand how much you can trust them. So this type of platform can become a solution. В мене є мрія. Well, I'm not as much about the forecast, but rather the desire. I would like consulting market to come down. Because I, as a representative of the Ministry of Economic Development, find it quite easy to work with large associations such as ECC, EBA, because they have professional lawyers, attorneys, many professionals who are hired by them. And it is quite easy for us to start professional discussion with them, something that is painful for them, something that is painful for us. But I really dream for this consulting market to come down to micro and small business, so that we also are capable of starting dialogue with them, so that we're capable of dealing with the most painful issues that would be worded in a clear, simple to understand language, so that they have money to organize certain type of association, pay for attorneys and legal professionals, so that it is mutually convenient to work like that. This is my dream. Thank you. I agree with Dmytro. I believe that today consultants, well, this profession, consultant services, is still at the early stage, and this is a huge market that soon will open up because, first, of globalization, and there will be more and more technological products, companies, small business will keep developing and growing. That is why I believe that this is yet only the beginning, and in 10 years' time, it's going to be even more popular, because this is already a popular profession, and it will be properly accepted by the entrepreneurs. They also will be developing, the entrepreneurial culture will be also improving, and I think that they will start delegating a lot. They will focus on their product mainly. That is why it seems to me that it makes sense. That market will grow, and I would like to congratulate you all, because you're going to have more and more work to do. So no worries, you also will have work. Because great experts then start training others, providing advice, and I would like to express the gratitude now. I very seldom participate in panel discussions, very seldom go somewhere as a speaker. I mainly work. This was the best panel discussion, the most interesting, the most fun. Thank you very much for that. I would like to also say about these dreams. When I look at Ukrainian business, it seems to me that in general, we have to get rid of the inferiority complex. When you go to certain markets which are even less developed than Ukraine, I start thinking, why the hell? We've opened office in Berlin. The day before yesterday, I met with a client from Switzerland. And why is that so? They say, because you are more lively, you are more active, because you have this passion, because you look at these things in an open manner. And sometimes I make a presentation dedicated to disruptive innovations from a turbulent country. And when I come, I say, you know, We probably cannot teach you how to be well-structured or properly work in a properly and systematical way. But as soon as I hear word disruption or entering the turbulence, come on, we've been in this turbulent situation for 30 years now. And we can teach developed markets how to deal with that. This is the first thing. The second thing is about internal collaboration. I think that this is one of our national problems. Ukrainians do not cooperate really well. We are not really good at uniting in the framework of certain projects that we're developing together. Every company wants to work individually, do everything, make all money, and get all the fame. But it doesn't work like that. And I think that the example that I'm very proud of, this is one of the best projects this year, DIA. But it's not that we did it on our own. Even in tender, we were participating at the consortium of Fedoriv and the union that deals with interfaces. Because we know that we're good at design, we are good with marketing, but interface, which is critical for this project, they are better in it than us. And we had to realize it, unite our efforts, and as far as I understand, DIA is collaboration of dozens of different subcontractors, ministries, and companies, because when you unite your efforts, it really is awesome. And number three, if these two things work, if we are confident, if there is proper collaboration in place, I believe we will be able to not only be the symbol of certain engineering outsourcing solutions as a country, but role model of digital, creative, international level solutions. And this is my dream. And I think that this is a wonderful ending for our discussion. I would like to thank you all for attention. And I would like to thank EBRD for all the wonderful things that they are doing. Thank you. Friends, let's give a round of applause to our speakers. This was Mykhailo, Fedorov, Dmytro, Romanovych, Olga Andrienko-Bentz, Kirill Kunitsky, Volodimir Malichevskiy, and Andriy Fedoriv as moderator. Come on, make some noise! These people do a lot for their companies, for our country in general, so let's wish them all the best. Let's wish all the best to ourselves, because we are